Of course, Republicans were completely opposed to this provision, saying that it might be a disincentive to work. For one, there hasn't been any evidence of that at all that they can point to.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Did you all know that in January, the child poverty rate increased by nearly 50%? That's crazy. That's crazy, right? For the past year or so, American families received payments of $250 per month for children ages 6 to 17 and $300 per month for those under 6 to most families in the country. This greatly improved the lives of working families. According to one analysis by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, 91% of low-income families used their monthly benefit on these basic needs: food, clothing, school supplies, utility bills, and rent. Those are not luxury vehicles. Less often, families spent the benefits on vehicle payments, again, not luxury vehicle payments, child care, or to pay down their old debts. The 6 monthly child tax credit payments of 2021 appeared to cut food insufficiency. The 6 monthly child tax credit payments of 2021 appeared to cut food insufficiency among families by 26%. Okay? I mean, that's huge. And of course, Republicans were completely opposed to this provision, saying that it might be a disincentive to work. For one, there hasn't been any evidence of that at all that they can point to. And in fact, many recipients say that this benefit has helped them cover costs for child care, making it easier for them to go to work, or has helped them cover costs for education so that they can get a better job. From an interview on NPR, $500 a month isn't nearly enough reason to quit looking for a job, says Jess Hudson, a single mother of 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area. I can't live on that. It was enough to give me child care help so I could finish school, so I could get a job, so I can participate in the economy in the ways that I want to do. But for 2, like in my opinion, so what if it was a disincentive to work, right? Like, isn't that good? I mean, I thought Republicans were supposed to be the party of family values and, women staying in the kitchen. Of course, women and men should be free socially to work or not in the context of raising a family. But I know that my mom went part-time when I was born so that she could raise me and my sister. My grandparents kept us 2 days a week, and those were the 2 days a week that she worked. And it was really beneficial for us. We really liked it. At least better than going to work 3 more days a week, certainly. So, why the hell shouldn't we give working mothers and fathers the option to raise kids themselves? I think it would be good if we gave working families enough money that it was a disincentive to work, frankly.
Well, you're starting to talk about family values now.
Yeah, I mean...
real family values.
It really is. It really is wild. So, Republicans got what they wanted last month when working Alabama families and working families across the country stopped getting those payments.
And I do want to put out just a little tidbit. This seems pretty minor in the grand scheme of things, but the cutoff for those ages was based on at the end of the year. In other words, whether you got $250 or $300 per child, depending on how old was the child December 31st. So if you are a child such as mine who turned 6 in December, well, then that means $250 per month for the entire duration of the program. And it's little things like that, I'm sure if you're a legislator or, a staffer working on these programs or, pieces of legislation, that may not seem like a big deal. But I know for me and certainly any other families in my situation, that $50 a month may, could have certainly helped. That would have paid a bill for me. Right. And it seems kind of silly that, a child that's 5 for 350 out of 365 days of the year gets the benefit of a 6-year-old child. seems weird. I'm sure there. Come on now, it's 2022. We can come up with a better way to do these kinds of cutoffs, so that it's not, because I feel like what happens is that people are so frequently on the short end of the stick of little things like that that just, colors their perception of government and also the folks behind these programs. I mean, yes, I'm certainly grateful that I got $250 a month, but yeah, it would have been better to get $300. So I'm just throwing that out there because I think it's easy to forget how many times folks get caught up in those situations, and but what you're getting at, really, like I said, is family values. Do folks have the resources to actually raise a family? And I agree. I think if, whether it's a mom or dad wants to be a stay-at-home parent, if you say you support that, then put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. Allow people to be able to do that. I mean, I would love to be a stay-at-home dad. I don't know how my wife would feel about that, but I would love to be a stay-at-home dad. And, have extra time to work with my child, whether we, maybe I'd homeschool, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would just have extra time to make sure, that she's keeping track in school and do all the things that is required of a household, because, that invisible labor of housework, of cooking and cleaning and laundry and all that, it adds up.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's just, I absolutely do think that we should have some sort of family stimulus that is a disincentive to work. I think that we should be disincentivizing parents from working. I don't think we should have a society where both parents feel like they have to work 50 to 60 hours a week to make ends meet. Like, I just don't think that's a society that we should have to live in, or that we have to, it would
we don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to. I mean, it would be one thing if, like, that's literally what it took to make society run, but it's not. That's not it. We've got the money, we've got the resources, and we've got the time to do it. It's just everything is concentrated at the top, and it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way at all. And like I said, my mom only worked 2 days a week until I was like 16, probably. Until I was like, I was significantly up in age before my mom, and my sister's 4 years younger than me. But I think it helped us, and I'm sure my mom enjoyed it, and I'm in a pretty long-term relationship at this point. We're looking towards, moving in together, and there's some conversations about, like, what we want to do when and if we start a family. And, fortunately for us, I have a decent paying union job where I feel confident that, if we do have children, that she can go part-time and that she can do something that my mom did. And I think, I think she'll like that. I think our kids will like that. I think I'll like that. And like, people should be able to do that. People should be able to do that. And I don't know, call me crazy.
Yeah, and that's where, and of course I have a way of always connecting everything back to education, but there is a real tangible and well-researched difference when kids have parents who can spend time with them. Parents who can spend time with them in general, but also spend time with them reading and making sure homework is completed, checking on their grades, being able to provide transportation and support to after-school activities, because, it's the kids who maybe only have one parent or who only have parents who are working 50, 60 hours a week. They have a lot harder time participating in clubs and extracurriculars and sports and band and all the things that, help you to be a well-rounded kid and ultimately a well-rounded adult. And I know it's just so hard. Those of us who are parents, who are working, it's just so hard to be away. And it's so hard on the kids. And, when you have young kids talking to you about it, it's, incredibly heartbreaking. So it is so sad that here we had a brief little moment where we were actually moving in the right direction, No, it wasn't enough, and no, it wasn't right. Some of the ways they implemented the program, such as the example I gave in my situation. But it was a step in the right direction, and yeah, it absolutely helped. It was a major help for my family, and I know for so many others. And I couldn't imagine. I only have one child. I couldn't imagine having multiple, 2, 3, 4 kids right now. Especially with the way prices are going up, it just would be. It seems like low-hanging fruit to try to get a renewed child tax credit or some sort of family. Ongoing family stimulus, something along those lines. And that's real family values right there. Put your money where your mouth is. Support people so that they can support their families.
And we had a good comment in the chat that said the multiplier effect of the dollar means that they build their communities as that turns over and over again in working communities. And that's absolutely true.
A parent who hasn't been able to get their kids new shoes for a while. Now maybe they had a little bit of extra money this month and they could afford to get them some new shoes. And now the shoe store just got another sale. It goes on and on. But that's really a way of looking at economics in a different way. Instead of the trickle down, it's more of a bottom up method.
Right.
Which is common sense, or at least it was common sense for, decades. But we have definitely moved away from that to the point where if you listen to, Marketplace and these other econ-themed shows, or CNBC, those type of programs, sometimes they're explicit about it, sometimes they're more coy about it, but more or less their message is often that if workers have too much money, if families have too much money, oh, well, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. We've talked about that with inflation and how rising wages are getting a lot of the blame for inflation.
Right.
It's sad. It's sad because, as you said, we don't have to do it this way, and it's not just using our imagination. Hell, just look across the world and how so many other countries better support folks who are trying to have a family. Whether it's the support given to pregnant women and to newborns, whether it's the support for folks to have paid family medical leave where they can actually stay home. I was blessed that when my daughter was born, I had a union contract, and parental leave was part of that, and I was able to take some extra time. Not as much time as I probably should have taken, honestly. I didn't use all the time I could have taken because I felt like so many workers that, I had to get back to the grind.
Right.
I would have done it differently in hindsight, but those are the sorts of things that really do make a difference with folks' families, not who's going into what bathroom and, all that kind of garbage that you hear about in terms of family values.
Yeah. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.